Hello. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to open my show again with a poem. I've had a great response from this, so let me read what I wrote actually in 2009. As I had said before, it comes to me just the same way as my art. I actually, at the time, don't know what I'm writing, but so many people have loved to hear my poems, so here we go. It's called Welcoming Today. We meet again with such peace in my heart, so long to wake up from this slumber. What joy I found within my heart. I am beginning to remember the music, the love, the light. I am waking up, thank you. My masters, my guides, my angels, I will travel with you. I now know all I need to do is ask. I was afraid that you would leave. How incorrect that I was. You hear me, for you are always with me. With peace and gratitude I have found. I want to learn so much. I want to teach what you have given me. I will continue to hear, listen, and feel you, for this is what reminds me. Thank you. Peace, love, and light. Blessings to each and every one of you. Zena. Thank you. Hi, my name is Sally Bernard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. It's time to trust your intuition. This is your inner knowings. Through questions and points of conversation, I can help others feel empowered. With the ability to touch people's past lives, I help others connect and not feel alone. Sit with me and call in live, 888-994-4995. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Monday at 3 o'clock. Please call in and ask me any questions that you want. I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, here I am sitting in the studio with a few people, so I'm sure they'll start off with my questions for me. Do you have a questions for me?
Sally, tell me what the collective is saying about the overall feeling as we go into the full first quarter of the year now. We're going to February.
Okay, they're feeling that, and I had said this before, I believe on my last show, that there's going to be a change. There's definitely going to be what I would call disclosure. I don't talk much about UFOs on my show, but I love questions that come in. And actually, I'm going to be a guest, which is not coincidence, on a show about UFOs. I feel that there's going to be a new beginning. We're going to begin to understand many things that many people say, well, I just don't know what's going on, but we're going to get answers. I really feel that we're going to get answers. More people are going to open up to what I'm talking about. And that includes myself, because sometimes I think to myself, is this really happening? But I get so much validation, Dawn, that I can't deny it. And that's going to be not just for the ones that can hear it, it's going to be for more people too, as long as they just keep an open mind.
Steve says, beautiful poem for a beautiful lady.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Steve. Thank you.
What does that poem mean to you?
Well, I actually wrote these poems in 2009. I was just beginning actually at that point to start painting too, but I could hear things in my head and I had no idea what I was writing. But when I would reread them, somehow, and I had not opened up to as much as I have today, but they had tremendous meaning for me. And I began to think, as I'm trying to hopefully help other people with what I started with my journey, to think that there is more than just what we see here. There is so much more going on. As long as, and I kept my open mind. I'm sure there were people, my friends must have said, oh, there she goes again. But I didn't let that deter me, Dawn. I just said to myself, I'm on my journey. Whatever happens from here on in is going to happen. And here I am today, many years later, reading poems that I had written in 2009 that make so much more sense to me today.
What do you think the calling is?
Well, for my calling for myself is to pass this on to people. I can't make people understand or believe. The only thing, and I wasn't maybe ready even in 2009, but to keep an open mind, just to understand that there's a little bit more going on in this world than what we understand. And you'll see, you will get validation along the way. And as Stephen, who is my husband today, just wrote in, he didn't understand that, but being around me and keeping an open mind, he's been given so much validation. It's not just him and I, it's for everybody, it's for everyone.
There's an overall sensation or palpation of negative energy right now outside, and people are not feeling well, they're sad, they're lonely. How can we help lift spirits energetically?
Well, it's an individual choice. We have to say, are we going to be happy today or are we going to be unhappy today? We're human and we're having a human experience here. And if you wake up, say you're feeling like with panic, which I have in the past, and I think, oh my goodness, another day. It's up to us to change that feeling. Say to ourselves, we've been given another day, because after all this is. We're being given the gift of life right now. And say to myself, or anybody that's listening that is suffering, especially from depression, and it's difficult, and I understand that because I have been there. But say to yourself, I'm going to have a good, positive day. Also listen to little signs. Turn the TV on. You never know, there might be a message for you from the TV. I get my messages sometimes from the TV. I'll say, you know what, can I have the answer to this? I do have a guide up there that's helping me. I'll turn on, and I've had validation. My friends know this. They know that I've had the validation this way. I'm here to pass this on to people, Dawn. For anybody that wants to listen, you're going to have to want to listen and maybe understand a little bit more. It'll come to you. I was very stubborn, and I'll say that again in the very beginning. And yet I'm starting to paint from not knowing anything about drawing. So it's a gradual process. We don't change completely overnight, but to remain positive, and my message always is to remain positive. Have a positive attitude as best you can. As they say, fake it till you make it.
You think that can really help people? They're having such a difficult time now.
They are. And unfortunately, we can't escape this. I can say to people, don't turn on the news. That's unrealistic. We have to listen. People say to me, oh, you still watch the news? Yes, I still watch the news, but I don't want to get caught up in it that much. I need to know what's going on in our world, because if I didn't, then I'm not being grounded at all. You know very much that I believe in the balance. But the best advice that I feel that I can give people, and my guide Alda used to tell me this, observe the situation. Take yourself out away from it and look at it by observing it. And then you can change your mood. It's not easy, but then if the news is really bad, which it is right now, unfortunately, put on something that's going to cheer you up, a positive message. Look at positivity. It doesn't happen overnight. We have to train ourselves to do that. And then when you start doing that, things do begin to change. I am a good example of that.
How did that change for you?
Well, again, and I keep saying I suffer from depression, which I did many, many years ago. But then I had people say to me, you're not much fun. But I knew that I have been told, a funny person, that I can say things and bring people out of that, but I wasn't doing it for myself. I gradually said to myself, okay, let's have laughter in my life. I was in sales and I was selling a difficult product. If I hadn't been funny, nobody would want to listen to me. So I got my training there to be funny, enjoy myself with the people that I'm talking to. And gradually we do change. I try very hard to have a positive attitude every day. I love here. I love the Brooklyn Cafe. I feel that I'm surrounded by everybody here.
I was just going to ask you, do you feel the angels in your collective here?
I do. they took a little time to show up today, Dawn, but they're here now. Okay,
I think they were resting because we were busy doing some work in the back.
They were, but I definitely feel them here. And I have my girlfriend from 30 years ago also here in the studio, Margaret, who's been on a couple of my shows. I just want to say hello to you, Margaret. Hello.
Here's a question for you. Is there one thing everyone needs to do every day, or is every day always different?
Well, every day is always different because we're here on a journey. But the one thing that I can honestly say, try and do, wake up with a smile on your face. Say good morning to yourself in the mirror. And I used to hate hearing that, but it does work. It changes your nearly said appetite. It changes your attitude. Look in the mirror and say good morning to yourself. Good morning. I am going to have a good day today, no matter what is going on in your life. My message is to be very positive. And you know what? You may get tired of me saying that. I got tired of people saying that to me. But truly, it has worked for me. So why can't it work for other people?
So what do you tell people who tell you they've been walking under a black cloud for 6 months, 8 months, everything's terrible, and you say, oh, today's going to be a better day, and they say, no, it's been rough.
And I understand that. And people, you know, I heard many times people say, well, fake it till you make it. That's really important. That saying is very, very important. If you continue and you wake up and say, oh, it's another day, I'm going to have a bad day, the universe, as I will say, and we call it, the universe out there hears that and they think you want to have another bad day. So say to yourself, I'm going to have a good day, even if you don't believe it. Say it to the universe and your day will get better.
And I think you've shown everybody that you got married, you went on this great honeymoon. Is that part of your secret?
Well, I don't want to keep it a secret. I want to share it. Yes. I have been saying to myself that, you know, I still have problems just like everybody else. But I try to see that I don't want to get too caught up in that. If someone tells me a really sad thing, I can't say, oh, that's great. Of course I can't. They'll think I'm crazy. Well, they do anyway. But I have to say to them, okay, let's see, how can we make this better? That's what they're telling me. If someone gives me their problems, I don't want to get caught up in it, or I'm telling somebody some of my stuff. I have to say, how can we change this? How can we make this better? Even if it's little by little, as my guide Al used to say to me, little by little. Because whatever we put out, Dawn, into the universe, it happens, good or bad. So why not let's just fake it and say, I'm having a wonderful day today. And let's see.
What do you think your time in the Renaissance has shown you to bring forward?
Okay, my time in the Renaissance, it was a very important lifetime for me, as you know, and I'm not really prepared to tell who I was in that lifetime, but you do know. And I was able to talk to many people about, and many people talked to me about past lives. I learned a lot in that lifetime because I was in a position to hear these things. Most of the world at that time was in chaos, and I got caught up in that. But as Aldo would tell me, this is very dear to me, and I don't often mention this, but he said to me, what I think I'm learning today, I'm remembering from that lifetime. So my message as far as that goes, and it sounds a little complicated right now because I'm not ready to express who I was, but what we learn carries on to each lifetime. So I'm going back into that lifetime where I knew what I'm talking about today. Do I remember every aspect of it? No. Have I done drawings from that lifetime? Yes. My guide who was in that lifetime with me told me that what I am talking about now I already knew. So I'm not asking everybody to believe in past lives. That's not going to happen. But for myself, I can only go by example of me remembering a past life, if that answers the question a little bit. So I knew what I'm talking about supposedly now, I knew then, which Aldo would tell me.
Here's your next question. What does it mean when I see recurring number patterns like 1111 or 333?
Okay, I actually really began to start, which I put in my first book, but I think that's going to be out of production. My new book will mention 1111 too. I actually started my journey with seeing the numbers 1111. And I wrote that in my book. I didn't know the meaning, but someone once said to me, there's a book out about 1111. It's beginning to awaken your our consciousness that we had. And they were trying to tell me by repeatedly showing me the numbers 1111 that I was beginning my journey of, I'm going to say, of re-remembering. That's very important. I'm not the only one that's had past lives. Many of us have. I would say not everybody, but many of us have had past lives. So it woke me up to the idea that there was more. I didn't believe in past lives at that point, but the 1111 kept showing itself to me. It's an important number if you keep seeing it. You're waking up to something.
How do you know if you're waking up to what they're trying to tell you, that you're actually reading the messages the right way?
Difficult. That's a difficult question. Well, not a difficult question. It's a difficult question to answer. But I think you will now get, if you're beginning to wake up, you get validations. I mean, mine was loud and clear. I got a message to say that I could paint. I had never painted anything in this lifetime. And I'm starting to paint, and I'm drawing things from other lifetimes that I hadn't seen. So mine was very clear to me. I was beginning to wake up. Not everybody has a message as strong as mine has, but just look for little things that can answer that too. That we may ask a question to ourselves, what's my day going to be like? As simple as that. You can turn the television on and you'll hear somebody that's maybe having the same sort of day as you and what they were about to do. That's just an example. I've had many, many validations like that.
Here's the next question. Are there unresolved issues from past lives that are affecting Avraham now?
Yes, there definitely is, only we don't remember. But the scenario, we have unresolved issues, which I believe, and again, I'm not here to tell everybody that I believe the same way, but I do believe this, that we carry on from where we left off. That's our choice. It might not be this lifetime, it might be the next. But the scenario, the situation will still be there if there's unresolved issues. And even in this lifetime, if we think we've gotten over something and say, oh, that's the end of that, if we haven't resolved that problem, it will show itself even in this life in a different situation.
And are there different archangels that I can call upon for help through communication?
Yes, there are. There are many ones. If you go through the archangels and their names, they will tell you what they're able to help you with. There are many books out that explain that, actually. I have been, I'm not going to say lazy because I do listen to them, but I used to have Aldo who answered so much, so I didn't do as much, say, research on the archangels, but they're there to help you, definitely. Aldo was my guide here.
Do you see any messages for Avraham from his spirit guides or his angels?
Right now off the bat, because I'm just reading this, yes, because the fact that you've asked me this question, and I'm not speaking in person, but I can still get a little bit of your vibration because I can see your picture. Yes, I think you're getting messages. Continue to ask and you will get validation. If you want to call and you feel that something happened during the week, please call into the program next week and maybe we can go into it a little deeper. But I feel that you are ready to receive these messages from your spirit guides and angels. Listen to what you're seeing, maybe something you might read. That's how they're able to talk to us.
Will the messages be clear to say, all right, you need to stand up for yourself, or don't take a left, make a right, good business ideas, bad business practice? Can they be that specific?
They can, only we don't always listen. It's usually, and as I go by, but I've had a lot of practice now because I'm more in tune with them, but go with your first gut instinct. Let's say you're driving along, and I use this as a good example, and you're going a certain way. If you hear something, just even a thought, turn right. There's nothing, so you may be a few seconds late. Turn right and then go back. we get indications. They definitely do talk to us that way. It's more telepathy. I'm more tuned into it today because I've been practicing it a lot. But go with your first inclination, your first thought.
And will your guides tell you, as Sally Bernard, this is the path that we want you to share the information? This is your calling?
Well, they're not quite as specific as that, but if I feel myself that I'm getting some message, which I do feel today, and I'm feeling, I have free will, just like all of us. They can't interfere with that, but they're putting us on a path. So if I feel comfortable about what I'm doing, I will continue to do that, yes. We all have that. It's not just me.
Here's a question from Katie. How can I deal with the negative energy of a family member that always has to be right?
Okay, well, they're not always right, as you know, because so you just deal the best way that you can. If it's a negative and you're really, really not in the mood to go into that, and I've had the same situation as most of us have. Just say, I'm sorry, I'm busy, I can't talk to you. There's nothing wrong with doing that, because after all, we have to look after ourselves. And if you're having a good day and sometimes it brings you down, then you have to say, I'll call you back, or whatever it is. We don't want to be rude necessarily, because someone can be hurting and they kind of want to give us their energy. I have to be today more like I feel it because I'm an empath, so it affects me more than maybe a certain person that is not an empath. But we can't be positive all the time, and I have to stress on that. Of course we can't. We do the best we can in our lifetime.
Do you think we choose to come back to our families?
Well, I like that question because we can get into this a little bit deeper, Dawn. We have what we call, quote, a soul family. We stay connected from here to, I'm going to say, to the other side, or however you want to say. We come back just like we have a family. We don't lose that connection, but we come back in different aspects. A father can be a child the next time. We don't always incarnate at the same time too. We'll incarnate if it's not, that person may not want to have this particular lifetime with me. We meet up. We always stay in our family. We add people onto our family, just we add friends. But if you're in tune with this, we get a sense of who our soul family is.
And can you turn on and off your intuition?
I can. I try very hard because, yes, it's not all the time that I can be in touch with this. But if it's really necessary and I've turned it off, they will make their presence known. Absolutely.
And they'll let you know what you need to do.
Absolutely. And it's up to me to listen. It's still up to us, even as much as I understand and know today. If I feel that I'm doing the wrong thing, I very often say, hey, where did you go? Come in. But again, I have a specific person that I will call on, Aldo, and my friends that did not know him in this lifetime, he seems to be helping them all now. So he's a busy man. Everybody says, I heard from Aldo today.
That's amazing. Now if we see a commercial for Aldo shoes or something, you'll know that he's with you.
That's right. Yes, that's
So
exactly
what
right.
does he tell you? What's next?
He's very happy with where I'm going and what I'm doing. He'd always wanted me to do this. He had also said to me, I had written a book, but it wasn't the book, it was a book. He had always said to me there will be a second book. Sure enough, there's going to be a second book in a couple of months from now. I have the correct person that's writing it. It's just not me, it's my whole life and how, and to continue. It's going to be helping people, hopefully, which he had told me to do. And he continues to give me messages. He wants me to be his mouthpiece. He's always said that in this lifetime and beyond. He's saying the same thing to me.
And are the messages people ask you, can you tell them what their past life is? Like if I asked you, do you see a past life of mine? Can you see one?
Most of the time, yes, I can. I can.
So can you see my past life, one of them?
Yes, I can.
And what was it?
Well, I'm going to go back to the Renaissance, which we had talked about. You were definitely there, Dawn, and I'm saying this out on the air, which is fine. You were part of my family. We were part of a family. I mean, everything that we've experienced in this lifetime, it's not necessarily, it's not coincidence. Again, a little background of how I actually got here so that we could meet. 3 or 4 years ago, I was painting and you had a guest on your show who had come in many times to the studio. And he kept saying to me, please go down there and meet Dawn and Freddie. Well, they were just names to me. I didn't come down there, but it didn't stop. Many years later, I walked into your studio. I never forgot my friend saying, please go down there. And I think you knew that when I walked in. Your first words were, you had heard a little bit about me. So we need to listen to these subtle things. And do we always have to carry them through? No. I have today because I realize this is my path. So again, and it sounds like, well, she's saying this because I'm sitting here, but no, I do believe we've had too much of a connection, that you're not part of the same group that I'm from.
And what about when negative people come back into your life? Because not all connections are good. Can there be someone's negative energy can consistently negatively impact you?
It can.
Or a person?
A person, a place, or a thing, as they say. Yes, it can continue to affect you. It's up to us to make that change. It still happens to me. I get negative people. Not everybody around me says, oh, Sally, you're here. We're having a great day. No, I have negativity in my life. But I try, because the first thing to do is be aware of it. I'm very aware today of the negative people in my life. I can't always break ties with those people, but they're beginning to know me more. So when they actually meet me, they say, you know what? I know I'm around you. I can't be negative. Well, that's a good start, okay? Am I positive the whole time? No, of course I'm not. But I try to change that as quick as I can.
So you think even later in life when we met, there's a reason we met now? There's a purpose for us to be here together?
Absolutely, Dawn, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not sure quite what the purpose is. I know it's to spread the word, but there are going to be other things that we are going to do. And you know what? As we go along and do that, we're going to say, oh my gosh, see how that falls into place. I'm here to spread my word to people. You're here, you have a show. Even that connection in itself is telling us something, right?
So what do you think the greater calling is of what we're doing here?
To spread the word, to spread the message, to show them that life is, it's not just what we see, just for people to open up. There is so much more. We're all here for a reason and a purpose. We don't just expire, let's say it that, and there's nothing, or we go to one particular place. Again, this can be another show, which I'd love to go more deeper into what I have learned over the years. We go into dimensions. It's to lift ourselves up into a higher dimension. And if we have our soul family that we meet here in this particular lifetime, together there's more vibrational energy. It's better to do this with people.
Here's a message from Cece. Hey Sally, Colleen and I wanted to know if we will have good things for our path that we are on now.
Hi Cece, nice to hear from you, and I do follow you very much on Facebook, as you know. Yes, I think so. I believe that this is also your time too. The fact that we cross paths, and I miss seeing you, but I believe that it is your time. And as I had said before when we talked in person, good things are on the way for you. We get little obstacles along the way. It can be health, it can be a lot of things, but continue on your path. You're definitely on the right track. Again, I'm not going to say wait a year to call me, but call me next year, okay? And you're going to say, oh my gosh, Sally, I never expected that. Expect it. It's happening for both of you.
Do you see any messages for Leos?
Okay, again, I'm not an astrologer, okay? So I'm understanding more about astrology, and I'm getting very much more into it because I believe that we pick our birth, where we are, and our time of birth. Do I know? I can't tell you that I know a lot about it, and the people that are giving me messages are not answering too many questions. I think they leave that for the professionals. So again, I have to say I'm not sure of that question. If you want to reword it in a different way, or if it's a personal question, please do so. Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. I'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you, and please tune in, or stay tuned in, not please tune in. Please stay tune in. Thank you very much.
A true story, Call Me Zena is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came to the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest in art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she's able to astral project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life's direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today.
Hi, we're back again from after the break. Just a little background on myself, and I usually rely on my guides to give me the answers, but I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. My childhood, through my childhood, I was a little bit psychic, but I really didn't understand it. It wasn't till like later on in my life that I was beginning to see a lot of the things that were happening to me were not coincidental. So it got my interest. I could see something before it actually happened, and then I'd see it play out, and I'm going, how can this happen? And then suddenly, again, I was going through a very difficult time in my life, and it sometimes happens that way. I went into hospital, I came out, and I felt like everything had changed. I seemed to be a different person, only I didn't realize it at that point. And I get a message one day in my head, but I'm writing down what I'm hearing through my dreams, and it's telling me to go and get some pencils and paper and crayons and start to draw. Well, I'd never been an artist. I'd never even been interested in art. But I'm scribbling, and suddenly I'm beginning to see that I'm creating something. And from then on in, I began to take note of what was happening to me. I seemed to be a completely different person. Well, my friends that knew me from before this happened to today, well, not today, this was a few years ago, they're going, you've changed so much. And it was subtle, but I suddenly changed completely, and I suddenly can hear so much today. I kept an open mind. And it
When
can
people
happen.
tell you, here's another question. Can I tap into the astral realm? This is from Avraham. We should have him come out and ask you the question.
Yes, absolutely.
Can he tap into the realm, the spiritual realm?
I believe we all can. This is how it actually started with me, through astral projection. I didn't know too much about this. And again, I say I was going through a very difficult time in my life. I went to sleep one night, and I heard a lot of noise in my sleep. And I suddenly, the next thing I know, I'm flying all around the place. I didn't know anything about this. I wake up, but I felt a jerk. That was very distinct as I woke up. And I go to work the next day, and this guy, Aldo, who became my guide, came up to me, and he told me he knew where I was last night. Now it's getting more freaky. I said to him, how in the world did you know where I was, where I didn't know? Now, I'm just an ordinary person, just like everybody else, and you're asking the question. Had I have known, I might have had some idea. But he told me exactly where I was. This question, how can someone tell me who I was in a dream that I remember so distinctly? And that's how I began. I was astral projecting, knew nothing about it, absolutely nothing. I believe we all have this opportunity. I did the research, and I began to go 3 times a week for nearly a year. So yes, can we astral project? Is there another plane? I can only go by example of what's happened to me. I saw that plane. I went to many different places. When I began to understand it more, it began to make more sense.
Does it give you answers for this realm when you see a previous one?
Yes, it does. It doesn't always take you back to previous lives. It takes you basically, which Aldo used to tell me, I can go wherever I want. I ended up on different planets, which, sounds ridiculous. But I can remember from 14, 15 years ago exactly what I was seeing on those planets. And today I'm a guest on a show about UFOs.
Do you
So-
ever draw those planets?
Well, a lot of my drawings, which you can see a few, have a lot of like strange things in them. I was actually drawing from previous lives, sketching in the very beginning, but I was drawing creatures and things that I didn't know, but I had seen. So yes, my artwork has a lot of things in it that would verify if I could see the planets, and people could, they'll say you drew that.
A lot of the artwork you have up here have animals in them.
Well, there are animals too. There, you know, it's not only us. There are, in my mind and what I've seen, there are many different, and I'd love this to be a show too. There are many different planets. And I began to open up to the fact that how was I seeing this? How could I imagine something that I'd never seen? How am I drawing something that I haven't seen around me? But I'm drawing things. And because we are becoming more open on this topic, there are shows now that are showing me some of the things that I have drawn. And I've seen how, you know, I'm just living a mundane life. Married, I had children, I got divorced. And yet suddenly this whole new world opened up to me.
And the messages you think you're here to share are giving people hope?
Without a shadow of a doubt, Dawn. For those that want to know, I can't make anybody listen to me, but today there's much more interest in this. And if I can open up to people through television, through movies, I am going to have a movie that's going to be written about my life. I'm doing this because I really, really want to share this with as many people that I can. It makes life a little easier. This life is not easy. But if you know that, I'm not telling everybody to reach to the other side and stay there. We're here right now, so I'd never say that. But we're here. Learn as much as you can while we're here. Open up to the possibility that there is so much more in this life than what we see.
Well, my daughter wants to go to graduate school. Where do you think she's going to end up?
In graduate school. I feel that, I don't know if she has any interest in the law. Does she have interest in the law?
In art.
Okay. I'm feeling something to do with the law too. I don't know. I mean, that's
Interesting.
up to her. We have free will again. But,
Well, that's funny because my son's a lawyer.
okay, so maybe I'm picking
feeling
up.
him.
Yes, I'm picking up your son. It might, maybe, yes, because I'm picking up something. That there's definitely a lawyer there. Okay.
All right, so what
that-
do you see for my son?
He's in the right profession. That's what I'm
Apparently
picking up.
so.
Absolutely. I'm getting goosebumps. It was your son that I was picking up. I know the question was for your daughter, but yes, your son is definitely in the right profession. Yes, definitely.
And my daughter wants to be an art therapist.
Then pursue that. Pursue that, because my granddaughter Sydney wants to be a therapist, but therapeutic with horses. And I feel that there's a connection there between the two of them, actually. I feel that. I feel very strong that Sydney, my granddaughter, is in the right profession, and to use horses, and I feel that your daughter is doing the same through art, through something. I feel that she's in the right profession. Both your children are in the right profession.
How can you help people who are suffering from mental health stigmas and issues? What's a good way for people to accept who they are and just say it's okay?
Well, you know, we're inclined to give people labels, and I really don't like that, because we choose our life, and if they say to me, from what I'm talking about, I could have been labeled very easily. That's not who I am. I be true to yourself. I mean, yes, I don't want to say anything about modern medicine. If we need pills, we need pills. If children need all these drugs, which, you know, it's debatable. If a doctor's saying you need it, then I'm not telling you you don't. But we all, up to a point, because we have different views, and sometimes that's like interpreted that we're different. Doesn't mean that we're crazy. We just have a different view on life. So the more we can accept who we are, go inward and say, okay, then life isn't easy. Life throws us a lot of things that are very difficult.
Avraham wants to know, where do you see his relationship appears to be headed?
Now, the relationship with your work, it'd be easy if I could talk to him. Or is it a person? Okay, we're going to see if we can get him on the set. I'd be happy to talk to you. Okay, there's just a little break while we go and find him. Okay, I think he's coming along. Okay, we can
Hello.
see him in person. Hi, hello.
I'm good, and
Okay.
you?
Okay, your question.
I was saying, where does my love life appear to be
Okay,
heading?
it's your love life. Okay. It's headed in the right direction, okay? And you're going to have a few obstacles along the way here. But I feel that you're still young, okay? So just open yourself up to anything. I'm not saying that you're in the wrong relationship, but before you actually settle down with someone, experience a little bit of your life, okay? A little bit more. I can't tell you whether it's right or wrong at this point. I honestly don't know. But what you're doing is okay? So just continue. Don't put pressure on either one of you, and I feel that you're on the right track. But if something comes up and you feel that you might have to change it, if you feel that there should be a change it.
Okay,
Okay? Thank you.
thank you.
We've got more questions coming out on the floor.
Oh, goody. Hi.
Hey, Sally, I got a question for you. I just came out of a very intense meeting.
Okay.
A lot of people are asking the same question. 2023, we're at the beginning. What happened? I just told you 3, it is on. A lot of people are saying 2023 is an interesting year. A lot of opportunities are happening. So I'm going to ask you for myself.
Okay.
What do you see for 2023 for me this year?
Okay, I see a lot happening for you, Freddie. I see that there is definitely going to be a change. You may start, and it's in the studio. Whatever you put your mind to is going to work. However, I'm going to say to you, think about it before you will succeed. Everything is opening up very much for you. But there's going to be a lot of different directions that you can go. Before you go into any of these directions, I want you to think very carefully about it. Now, I can't tell you one direction is going to be better than the other, but there is going to be a tremendous amount of opportunity for both of you. It's the studio. There is something about this studio. But give it thought. I always say go with your first thought. That's all right, but research before you do or jump into anything. You will be on the right track. You are on the right track. Not will be, you are.
But Sally, I'm in the multiple facet business. I don't do one thing. I do 50 things.
Right.
So I really can't say one over the other. I sort of have to play my hand on all of them as equally as I can because all of them grow possibilities. So my question, I guess, is really, do I take the leap of faith and just go for it, or do I hold back and wait till things develop?
Well, my first instinct is exactly what I was saying to you. There is going to be a lot of opportunities for you, Freddie. I don't, even if it's an afternoon, don't jump in right away and be eager to say yes. It could be that it's definitely, and if it's definitely for you, and I see a lot of different opportunities, as I was saying, go with what you feel. Don't start questioning it that much. If you feel that someone's talking to you about an opportunity and you're getting a really good feeling about it, because you're going to have many, if your feeling and your gut instinct is to say, okay, think about it. It can only maybe for a half an hour, but give it thought before you jump in. But if everything is answering the questions that you're asking and they're giving you the answers and you're feeling comfortable with it, you are on the right track. Whatever you're doing right now is on the right track. One might be more important than the other. So when I say give it time, it doesn't have to be weeks. It can be an afternoon. Just don't be too eager to say yes right away, which I do. I'm very impulsive, okay? However, be aware of that and see how you're feeling, because I believe you can do this. You can definitely do this. And if everything is going the way that you feel that it should be, go with it. You are on the right track. Whatever is being presented to you right now, I totally feel that it's correct. However, one might be more important than the other. So it's timing too. I can't see you're going to make a mistake, but be just a little bit cautious.
Well, I'm trying, the calling I have is to try things that I've never done before.
That you haven't done.
That I have not done. So the shows that I am putting out there, the way of presenting it, the social media platforms that we're coming out with, all of it, never done it before. So it's really hard to gauge right, wrong, or indifferent, patience or hold back, or do I just go and then let it play out and see what happens? I think that the fear is, if one fails, there's always going to be, I'm a firm believer, one fails, there's always going to be another. And just go for it. Now, 2023 is a different type of year. It looks like because of COVID, everybody, all the businesses all want to come out and do something. They just don't know what to do. And there becomes the challenge. Some will do more, some will do less. Some will make things differently. So my question really is, do I just go for, even though I've never been down this path, just go for it and see what happens?
Okay, don't let that deter you, the fact that you haven't done it, because you're being given opportunities, Freddie, that you might not have thought about. When I say that, don't jump in at that second, okay? Do a little bit of research, if it's an afternoon, if it's a day, or if it's a week. I truly believe, from what I'm able to do, that all the opportunities you are being given are what you're meant to be doing. Some may be more important. You can't cut yourself so thin that you're suddenly doing every one of them. But in time, it'll fall in together. I truly believe you are definitely on the right path by changing a little bit. Having said that, you have to go a little bit with caution. It wouldn't be happening to you. You've opened yourself up to a lot of new opportunities, and they will work. I mean, you know, I'm saying this in front of everybody. I truly believe that with everything that I'm feeling. But some may be a little more important as you go along than others. You can put some on the back burner. Don't disregard, though, anything, unless you absolutely have a negative about it. Then, of course, that's you. You're able to do this. You say, no, that's not for me. But the majority of things that are going to be presented to you are going to be good. They are going to be good, okay? Can something creep in that's not? Absolutely, but go with your gut with that feeling too. If someone presenting something to you does not feel right, you say, okay, another time, but let's leave it over there. This one feels better. Does that help you a little bit?
It helps me immensely. And the other thing is, a lot of people have an opinion, because not everybody handles something new and different. A lot of people will fend off and not do it because they're not familiar with it. So I get ambushed sometimes by people telling me, don't do this and don't do that because you don't know what's on the other side. But that's the nature of this business, is that.
You have this. You can do it. You'll feel what is right or wrong. Just go with your gut, Freddie. Yes, you may get something that's completely outrageous. This is something you had never thought about, and you're not feeling comfortable, then leave that one, because something else is going to show up anyway. It's always going to be there. You are on the right track, definitely. This is going to expand beyond belief, in my opinion.
That's good to know. Right, Smiley? Good to know. Go ahead, G-Man.
Oh, I was saying, you know how they say the more you shine, the more shadows you cast?
Yes.
What happens if I'm casting shadows in my house and there's negativity in my house? How do I clear that up?
Well, it's not easy, but just remain as positive if you can. If you're going through a difficult time and there are these dark shadows in your house, sometimes we even can learn from that. But try to, you don't want to get too caught up in it all, please, because that's going to pull you down. You don't want that. So try and correct certain, you can't rule somebody else's life, no matter what's going on in your immediate surroundings. That's their life and their choice. You can change you, though. You can change your attitude towards it. So, you know, even, which I was talking about before, then there's negativity around you, put a smile on your face. Be a beacon of light to them if you can. If it doesn't work, then excuse yourself, even if it's your home, and just go out until maybe the situation can change a little bit. You don't want to pull yourself into all this negativity. Please don't do that.
So you don't want to live the negativity.
No, I mean, again, this is unrealistic for me to say be positive all the time, because I'm not, obviously. But be aware that you're being pulled into it. If you can be aware, and it happens. I don't care how positive you are, something is going to happen to make your day not good sometime. Not every day, but it will happen. In the bigger picture, and I say this, and I've been doing it recently, if something happens that I don't like, or I want to say something that could be negative, I stop for a second. I never did this. How important is it in the big picture? If I want to tell someone off or even have an argument, I say to myself, it's not worth it. It's not worth it because it's going to pull me down. So can we be happy all the time? No, that's not how it works. But learn, and try to put that smile on your face, especially when there's negativity there.
And you got to live with your own belief, no?
You do, absolutely. It's our choice. Again, I talk a lot about free will. We can be on the right path, but because of the world with the density, with the news, with this and that, it's very easy for our attitude to change. Be aware that it's changing and try to pull yourself out of it. Can we do it all the time? No. Well,
I was going to ask you, in his case, G-Man, they got to clean it up. You know who you are. You know what you bring. They're the ones that have to clean it up, not you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what they think of you is none of your business, I'm assuming, yes?
Perfect. Absolutely. I think they were talking to you too right now. That's perfect.
Been there,
Absolutely.
done that.
Absolutely. And as I have too. You can't let, I mean, even if you talk to someone, a psychologist, you can't let other people rule your life. You can't. And if it's negativity day in and day out, then you've got to excuse yourself from that, however you do it. Be it walk away from the situation. If you help, observe it and do the best you can, but protect yourself from that. There are people wanting to, I'm not saying in your particular case, but there are people wanting to pull us down sometimes. It can be any reasons, but they don't even want us to succeed. I'm not necessarily talking personally, but it happens in life. That's how it is. Does that help you a little bit?
Yeah, it helps.
Good, good.
Well, Sally, on that same idea, how do we stop that negativity from pulling us down from what we know it's doing, but to actually stay who we are?
You be aware of it, Dawn. That's the first thing. You say, this is, whatever the situation is, it's not making me feel comfortable. Well, if it's not making you feel comfortable, you can do one of many things. You can excuse yourself. You can go in, if it's in your home, you can go into another room. You can put a record on, you know, a tape, whatever you want. I'm saying records because I'm going back many years. But you can put something on that's going to lighten your mood. Go into someone that's talking positive. Listen to someone that's giving a positive message. You can get out of it. It's not always easy, but you can.
What do you do if you know it's somebody that's actually, like, in your family doing things to make negativity come in your life?
Well, this is hard because, you know, we get tested very much by our own family because that is what hurts us. You can say, I'm going to walk away. Is that realistic? No, because I've been there and done that. But try to find out maybe what is making them that way. You know, I can't say that we have free will. They may want to continue. That's their journey. Excuse yourself a little bit away. Just walk away a little bit, not necessarily walking out of the door, but in your head walk away from it a little bit. Don't get too caught up with other people's stuff. Not easy. Family is the hardest. That's our biggest lesson.
Yeah.
Sally, last question, real quick. I noticed that more people are coming into a studio for the shows and they're staying and talking to you, so the messages are getting out there. Does that mean that 2023 is going to be a positive year from what you've seen?
For the studio, for part of my part of it too, yes, absolutely, 100%. I have never, ever felt more positive about what I'm doing, Freddie. I don't know, as I have said before, as far as marketing and everything else, I'm not good. I can answer the questions, I can do this, but I feel that the draw that we have here and the people, not just me, the people that you're bringing in and the people that I have met are all meant to be here. This is what this studio is about right now. Very much so, because we keep saying 2023. It's a very, very important year. Very important year. Okay, does that hopefully that validates your question. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we've come to the end of the show. Please tune in next week. I'll be here, same place, same time. Thank you. Coincidence or not, it's time to trust your intuition and knowings. Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Bernard, and you can find my book, artwork, and contact through artbysallybernard.com. Join us next week. This has been Call Me Zena.